Hope and Liam have an unexpected guest at the BNB wedding of the year. The Bold and the Beautiful has a holiday season surprise for viewers wondering about Hope Logan's son, Douglas. The Forrester heir hasn't been seen on the soap since his father, Thomas, came back to town engaged to Paris Buckingham. However, as the preview for the week of December 8th gave away, he will be hopping a plane to Los Angeles to attend Hope's wedding to Liam Spencer, his cousin and former stepfather. This is a move we didn't see coming. Key takeaways. What Douglas has been up to since he left Los Angeles. The significance of his appearance at the wedding. What Douglas' return could mean for BNB. What happened to Douglas Forrester? Douglas, Henry Samary, and Hope's, Annika Noel, relationship has been rocky since she rejected Thomas's, Matthew Atkinson, proposal. Well before she adopted him, he'd wanted them to get married. It's a dream Douglas hadn't given up on until he saw how devastated his dad was over Hope's refusal to marry him. In a fit of anger, he told her that his real mother was Caroline Spencer, Lindsay Godfrey, who had passed away when he was 5 years old, basically divorcing Hope from the title of Mom, which they had both cherished up to that point. He walked that statement back the longer they spoke, but he still bid Hope farewell because he was going to live with his dad in Paris. Sooner than viewers would have anticipated, Thomas came back home to tell his family that he'd be marrying Paris Buckingham, Diamond White. The former head of the Forrester Foundation previously had a strong bond with the two due to Thomas's stint as her roommate years prior, but it had evolved into a romance with Thomas and Douglas calling her Mom, which blindsided Hope. Douglas was excited about the union, but it crashed and burned off-screen when it was revealed that Paris's mother, Dr. Grace Buckingham, Cassandra Creech, had falsely diagnosed Liam Spencer, Scott Clifton, with brain cancer to extort $1 million from his father, Bill, Don Diamont. She did it to settle a debt her ex-husband, Dr. Reese Buckingham, Wayne Brady, accrued with bookies who were threatening her daughter's lives. The incident tore Paris and Thomas apart. While Thomas was aimless and heartbroken during his brief visit to LA in the aftermath, Douglas was off in the south of France with friends. He's been doing well in Europe and establishing his own life without his father needing to be in tow all the time. It's a reality that Thomas told his own father, Ridge Torsten K., he was reckoning with. Douglas has always been an independent child, navigating Los Angeles with little assistance from his family members. A trip back for his mother's wedding would be light work for him. A reunion that could repair broken bonds. With Douglas in attendance, BNB may be re-establishing the family unit that was Hope, Liam, Douglas, and Beth. He's wanted his parents together, but there were times when he rooted for Lope, too. Like his sister, Beth, Jordan Lynn Ariza, is about to do in grander fashion, Douglas even officiated their impromptu wedding after his father's scheming fell through. However, his bond with his cousin, Liam, has faltered from time to time. Typically, when Douglas was scheming on his own, trying to push Liam out so that he could spend time as a family with his parents and Beth. That's not likely to happen again anytime soon since Lope is serious about giving it another go. As such, we may see Douglas give his blessing to the pair as a nod back to his history living with them in the cabin. Also, now that he's back on screen, viewers may finally see Douglas and Beth interact. Before Ariza assumed the role, Samary was acting opposite young girls who didn't have speaking parts. They're now both older children, which means we could see what their dynamic is going to be on the soap. Though it's likely Douglas will remain a doting older brother as he had been before. Does Douglas' return mean Thomas will be back too? The big question surrounding Lope's wedding is whether Sheila, Kimberlin Brown, will crash it, as Beth made sure she wasn't invited. Deacon, Sean Cannon, gave in to his granddaughter's guest list demand as he's clearly walking Hope down the aisle in the preview video. That's left Sheila fuming and leaning on Taylor, Rebecca Budig, for support. But Douglas' appearance does make one wonder if Thomas will be the one doing the crashing. In all honesty, it's not likely. Thomas and Hope's romance was put to bed for now on BNB, and there hasn't been any indication that either of them is thinking of each other as more than co-parents and former business associates. But that doesn't mean it's off the table that Thomas will return to LA at some point, especially with a Forrester feud brewing. If he is back before the end of 2025, there's a chance it'll be to weigh in on Eric, John McCook, and Ridge's standoff over Eric's refusal to retire. Soap Hub will keep you updated as more news becomes available. Stay tuned. Sunlight shimmered like spun glass over the Honeycrest bed and breakfast, settling on its rose-lined porch and whitewashed railings. The entire property buzzed with expectation. Today wasn't just any wedding day. According to the local paper, it was the wedding of the year, an event the whole valley had been whispering about for months. Hope Logan fussed with the last centerpiece inside the garden tent while Liam Spencer, sleeves rolled and hair already rebellious, attempted to wrangle a stubborn string of twinkle lights. "You'd think after everything we've planned, the lights would behave," he muttered. Hope laughed, brushing a stray curl from her forehead. "Honestly, I'm not sure whether the lights or the guests are more unpredictable." As if on cue, a delivery truck honked twice and backed up toward the service entrance. Hope glanced at the time, 10:03 a.m. 3 hours until the ceremony. 3 hours until vows, wine, dancing, and the promise of no more last-minute surprises. Or so she hoped. Liam wrapped an arm around her waist. "You okay?" "I will be," she said, exhaling. "Everything just feels big." "That's because it is," Liam said softly. "Hosting a wedding for our very first season back at full capacity? That's huge." She nodded. "Huge and exhausting. Huge and beautiful. Huge and so worth it." The bride, the groom, and the B&B owners. The soon-to-arrive bride and groom, Tessa and Milo, had chosen the B&B for its charm, its hospitality, and, according to Tessa, its "we found this place in a romance novel" vibe. Hope loved that. Liam loved the business it brought in. And both of them loved how the community had rallied around them, filling the rooms, the hallways, even the porch swings with anticipation. The guest list included business owners, local artists, half the town council, and a few high school classmates who saw weddings less as ceremonies and more as opportunities to network over champagne. But one name wasn't on the list. One name would never have been on the list. And yet, destiny had its own sense of timing. A knock that didn't belong. At 10:14 a.m., while Hope arranged escort cards in alphabetical order, because chaos was intolerable and so were crooked name tags, someone knocked on the front door. More like pounding than knocking. Hope frowned. "We're not expecting anyone," she murmured, smoothing her skirt. Liam, coming from the garden, frowned too. "Deliveries should be done. Guests are checked in. Maybe Tessa's cousins came early." Hope opened the door. She froze.